My wife tended to the needs of our neighbors, a colossal canine during their absence. However, as I kept a watchful eye on the neighbor's enormous canine, she encountered an incident that left her feeling strangely exposed. On an ordinary Thursday, as the evening settled in, the atmosphere felt almost tranquil, as though the passage of time had momentarily halted, sufficient for one to inhale deeply and contemplate the tumultuous journey of life. Upon crossing the threshold, following a lengthy day at the office, weariness enveloping me, akin to a heavy cloak, enveloping each transition into a strife. However, a peculiar quality hung in the air of our dwelling this evening. A feeling that sparked within the atmosphere, imbued with an energy that slipped through the grasp of my comprehension. Within, at the center of the kitchen, she stood with her back turned to me. She leaned down gracefully to retrieve something from the oven's warmth, welcome with open arms. The scene unfolded with a sense of the mundane, yet it possessed an unforeseen charm. Her gown, slightly rising, just enough to tantalize a fleeting glimpse of skin. I lingered in the shadows, watching her as she crafted herself, a minuscule bead of perspiration forming. It trails down her neck. "Greetings," I remarked, striving to maintain a cheerful tone while setting aside the weight that lingers in my heart, and the peculiar fusion of fascination and an unsettling flutter in my gut. She whirled around, eyes wide with disbelief, casting a glow upon her features, then quickly morphed into a grin that appeared to exhibit a deficiency of true warmth. "Ah, you've returned early," she remarked, her voice shrouded in an enigmatic allure, suggesting stories yet to unfold, longing for discovery. Thus, I resolved to discreetly slip away from my duties at work, slightly ahead of schedule, aiming to surprise you, watchman. I drew near to her, softly pressing my lips against hers, her cheek yearning for a feeling of an intimate understanding in our bond. Nevertheless, it felt transformed, burdened with an indescribable tension. As we gathered around the table for dinner, the soft clinking of cutlery against plates permeated the atmosphere, crafting an instance of silent expectancy. I discovered my essence, stealing glances at her, trying to unravel the shift in her demeanor. Have I erred in my judgment? Might it have been? Is there anything pertaining to your profession? Nevertheless, it lingered as an unvoiced reality, the story she was hiding from me. Then she uttered a word, breaking the silence, like a dam bursting open. "I possess a story to tell you." My heart quickened, an overwhelming sense of dread rises from the depths of my being. What stories might she spin? With a sense of eager anticipation, I grasped my fork, suspended gracefully in the atmosphere. In a distant realm, a dog existed. As I tended to, an event unfolded before him. Her expressions hung, thick and stifling in the environment. My stomach twisted, and a chill sweat began to form on my forehead. What actions might a dog undertake? What could possibly bring about such a revelation? She continued, her voice gentle and fragile, as though whispering a hidden truth. He existed, so powerful that I lost my balance, and in that instant, I became utterly still. I was unaware of how to respond. Everything unfolded in an instant. Ideas danced in my mind, wrestling, imbued with the significance of her expressions. What is it that you seek? Was she offering a piece of herself? Is it possible that she suggested an underlying significance beyond what caught the gaze? The dreams that both danced in my thoughts, disturbing yet captivating, a blend I discovered to be utterly unmanageable. I endeavored to create some space between us. Nevertheless, an inescapable power lingered, an essence unrefined and wild that embraced me, ensnared. Her voice slipped away into the quiet, her gaze drifting from mine, heavy, tinged with a mix of shame and an indescribable feeling. Words eluded me, and I discovered that I was uncertain about how to reply. The betrayal, if one might refer to it as such, did not come to fruition. The existence of another man, yet instead, arose from a deeper, more instinctual essence, more disking. Did you find pleasure in it? The words escaped my grasp before I could contain them back, my voice carrying an unusual quality and remote. Her silence conveyed a depth of meaning that resonated within me. An overwhelming tide of emotions surged within me. Exasperation, confusion, and an unsettling allure. In what manner did she manage to? Could you please do that? Yet, a fragment of my being longed to embark on a voyage into the enigmatic, in the hidden corners of her mind, where an unimaginable deed had taken root. The stillness that enveloped us was overpowering, disrupted only by the soft sighs of the dog nestled beside her feet, its tail gently drumming, pressed against the earth, oblivious to a tempest had stirred within our lives. I looked upon her, this woman I thought I comprehended, and began to realize that she was a rich tapestry of experiences woven with intricate detail, layers and profound depths I had yet to explore, reveal, or maybe was overly cautious to face. And in that instant, the difference between right and wrong dimmed, engulfing my thoughts in a tempest of inquiries that appeared to lack any responses. What narrative does this reveal for us? Will I ever behold her in the same light? Another look through the lens? What weighed heavily on my mind was the deep sense of conflict. I experienced a profound sensation. The twilight surrendered to the embrace of night, the air heavy with eager expectation. With every tick of the clock, echoing with the rhythm of my soul, the rhythm of a life unraveling at the seams. As the shadows deepened, outside, I felt a rift expanding, inside. Every moment elongating, perpetually, weighed down by the weight of moment. The comforting embrace of our abode now appeared as a canvas for an unfolding drama. Finally, I broke the silence. Her voice hovered just above a whisper, yet it carried the weight of innumerable unspoken complaints. What is the length of what is the current circumstance? Her eyes, those gateways to her essence that once shimmered with joy and warmth, now seemed enveloped in an overwhelming sense of regret and an indescribable burden. Rebellion. She drew in a deep breath, her chest elevating in a way that, in a different time or place, would have enchanted my focus. What is this? It merely intensified the deep ache of treachery inside myself. Since last month, she admitted, her voice gentle and quivering, yet each word pierced the stillness with acute accuracy. It all started while wandering alone with Boone. A connection unlike any that had ever been forged between them, a connection that intertwines moments of life. In a time long past, there existed a dog. The absurdity might have been entertaining, were it not for the effect it produced. Within the confines of my imagination, I crafted a vivid tableau, vivid images of her alongside another, perhaps even alongside another woman, yet a faithful friend. My thoughts whirled, finding it difficult to grasp the importance. What is the approach to take? What is it? Words eluded me as I grappled with the challenge of expression, ensnared in a yearning for deeper understanding and an instinct to restrain, reminiscent of the compulsion to poke at a sore spot. It was, in the wake of the discovery I made, on the journey to the vet with him, he experienced a profound ache deep within, laid bare and delicate. In those fleeting instances of a gentle shift took place, my view of him started to change. The betrayal resided not solely in the act itself, yet within the revealing reality that this transcended the realm of mere physicality. It proved to be an experience that resonated profoundly, or as close as one might get to that beneath these peculiar circumstances. I cast a fleeting glance at Boone, now resting serenely in her slumber, feet, entirely unaware of the turmoil he had aided in the release. His innocence infused a captivating dimension to the whole setting. Have you ever pondered upon shall we embark on this journey together? What effect could this have? Where, us? My voice quivered, betraying the chaos within my soul. I did, she replied. And, at that instant, her demeanor transformed, unveiling a mixture of sorrow and an emotion that runs deeper and feels more unsettling. Yet, there are instances when our feelings seize the reins, steering us toward the unforeseen connections. The air grew heavy, as though the walls themselves were whispering stories that were never meant to reach my ears. Deception frequently emerged as a secret love affair, an undisclosed beloved. Yet, this was a narrative filled with surprising twists that took me by surprise, utterly unprepared. And what of Boone? His name hung in the air, tantalizing and elusive, yet it arrived with a biting undertone of bitterness. What stories can we recount about him at this moment? As her gaze landed on the dog, a tender, gentle warmth enveloped her features, establishing a striking distinction to the subtle tension that persisted between. We find ourselves in a state of uncertainty, surrounded by a multitude of layers to this situation. Complex. That term, only just begun to explore. My imagination weaved with stories, each one more disquieting than the previous. What we had built together started to unravel directly before me. Not because of the common fractures of betrayal, yet from something utterly unexpected, so entirely mysterious. The stillness enveloped the moment more. Yet it bore a fresh significance. It was not just the absence of sound, but the burden of an unspoken resolution, the calm that precedes a tempest of revelations. As I stood up, a sense of urgency washed over me, driven by a desire to break free, to set myself free from this all-encompassing reality. With each step I took felt like I was intricately weaving an unfolding story, every step a decision, every instant a doorway welcomed. The walls tightened their grip as I made my way forward, back and forth, my thoughts swirling with a tempest of incredulity and sorrow. Could you kindly bring this to a close? I asked, holding on to the slightest, a faint shimmer of anticipation for an answer that might reclaim a piece of our existence. Her silence hung in the air, and, as each moment slipped away, my heart experienced more substantial. As she ultimately discovered her voice, it exuded an aura of power and determination. What I yearn for is time. To seize the core, to select instances, that was her lifeline. As everything, the world around me disintegrated, the room spun, surrounding me as I endeavored to comprehend her, the gravity of her longing for moments, the deep importance of what that might signify for our future. The unyielding tick of the clock resonated, akin to a challenge, marking each surreal moment, the instant of this eerie experience. How could one discover a path to heal the scars? Is there any way to comprehend such a betrayal? Could it even be possible? Find a path back from this location? At that instant, I found myself enveloped by a desperate yearning for breath, for space to contemplate, to breathe deeply without the weight of her revelation pressing down, weighed down upon my chest. As I drew nearer to the door, my fingers grazed the knob, and I halted, ensnared in a fleeting instant of uncertainty. Was I prepared to leave? Is this the conclusion, or simply something out of the ordinary? Is there a pause in our journey together? The door swung open with a haunting creak. And as I stepped into the refreshing embrace of as night fell, I took my leave not just from the warmth of our home, yet also from the comfort of what I thought was ours, an existence woven together. The night shrouded all in stillness, shattered merely by the far-off howl of a dog, a lingering echo of the truths unveiled, that hung in the dimness, inviting into the unknown ahead. The crisp wind caressed the skin, a striking testament to the weighty, the stifling atmosphere that remained within the confines of the indoors. As I meandered down the street, my thoughts swirled in a whirlwind of thoughts, each one more tumultuous than the last, the one preceding. Did she merely need? Was it time, or perhaps the distance that separated us, that did she seek? The distant howl of the dog echoed within my inner turmoil, a lonely wail in the darkness that pierced a chord resonated deep within me. My feet led the way to the park. A domain brimming with reverberations of laughter and the soft murmurs of dreams we once shared. Yet in this instant, a shadow emerged, poised to protect a concealed narrative. Each bench remained a silent witness to a love now enveloped in uncertainty. I resigned upon our cherished bench, the one we forever asserted as belonging to us. It possessed an eerie chill, as if the wood itself harbored a resentment towards me. The visage of her countenance remained etched in my thoughts, the guilt and sorrow mirrored in her gaze she directed towards me as she spoke. What was the significance of that gaze? Did she experience? Was there a sense of remorse for her past actions? Or was it the looming decisions that burdened her thoughts? The betrayal pierced her heart, a jagged, the sharp divide that fractured the trust one once held, intertwined within our connection. As I looked upon the moon, with its serene glow, offered no comfort, simply a touching reminder of the radiance that had dimmed from my existence. The bench creaked under the weight of my mass, and for a brief moment, I imagined her softly sharing secrets I found myself unready to welcome. But why? Whispered softly into the shadows. Why, if my heart belonged to you, was this your choice, path? In that instant, the stillness surrounded me, interrupted solely by the sorrowful wail of the dog, reverberating its own, a journey toward comprehension, a search for peace, in the depths of its anguish. As I reflected, moreover, the image started to come into clearer focus. My mind. This transcended mere considerations of time. It became a journey in search of truth. Was there ever a moment of true honesty between us, or was our bond simply a tapestry intricately woven from deception? The notion remained in my thoughts, an eerie specter that lingered in my mind. Each passing moment we shared in unison, each gentle vows shared, each explosion of laughter appeared to be a mere facade. What transpired was not simply an act of deceit. It marked the apex of years intricately intertwined with deception, culminating in this moment, a defining instant. My heart raced, ensnared, amidst a tempest of exasperation, and an overwhelming sorrow washed over me. I was compelled to confront her, to pursue the truth, yet the fear of the revelations held me at a distance. What if she confirmed my most profound fears? What if she disclosed that her heart never genuinely did it truly belong to me? Was I capable of embracing that? In the stillness of the park, solitude poured down, broken only by the gentle murmur of foliage and the bark of a dog. Perhaps even the very same, the mournful howl that had signaled the onset of evening. It felt as if the narrative unfurls, echoing the lament of the dog, reflected my own inner chaos. An echo steeped in sorrow, confusion, and a foggy journey loomed before me. I stood up to my feet, the frigid air seeping into my very essence, resonating with the chill that seized my heart. I sensed the urge to go back, not in pursuit of understanding, yet propelled by a persistent yearning for something remarkable, for her to disclose that it was merely a horrifying misunderstanding. Yet beneath the surface, on the surface, I grasped that hope twirled, drifting like the autumn leaves dancing in the gentle caress of the breeze envelopes me as I embark on the journey home, extended infinitely, each step weighed down by the sharp pain of betrayal. As we neared our dwelling, the lights shimmered vividly, casting elongated shadows upon the lawn. Shadows that seemed to stretching out, summoning me, pulling me back within the haunting memories. I lingered at the threshold, my fingers lingered, ready to embark, hovering just above the doorknob. Am I prepared to? Shall I confront her? Might I be privy to the story she holds, what must be shared? The door loomed ahead of me, a threshold that held the promise of not only a return to the known, yet encounter a conflict I found myself unprepared to confront. With a steady breath, I adjusted myself neatly. The knob, returning to a life that seemed overseas, ready to face the reality that lay ahead, regardless of the circumstances it held. As I stepped over the threshold, the house enveloped in inviting warmth, surrounding me like a well-loved story poised for retelling, to be revealed. The soothing scent of the air was filled with the soothing embrace of lavender and vanilla candles, the space, now cloaked in the shadow of the sharp ache of treachery. In that fleeting instant, she remained poised, her silhouette bathed in the soft radiance of in the living room, her gaze brimming with a mixture of wonder and a silent emotion. Was it regret or trepidation? Is that you, Daniel? The voice cut through the heavy stillness, trembling as though she felt the storm brewing, collecting within me. Permit me to convey a narrative. However, can any narrative truly mend the shattered connection we once held? My heart pounded within me, each beat echoing, akin to a summons for war. I wandered past the gentle carpet beneath my feet, akin to quicksand, as though it were endeavoring to pull me into a chasm of grief. I halted in the midst of the room, slowly turning to face her gaze. Would you mind expanding on that? I asked, my tone a chilling murmur. Could you reveal the story woven into the application of the lipstick? What about his collar? What is the status of the text? Correspondence? The fleeting gaze exchanged between you and him during the assembly. She opened her mouth, yet silence wrapped around her, her eyes darting away from my gaze, unable to connect. My gaze. Images surged through my mind, the memories of our collective voyage, now eternally transformed. Every gentle touch, every welcome, each gentle proclamation of tenderness. Did any of it endure? What does it mean to her? Was all that was what we shared, Lenora, merely an illusion? I asked, not genuinely expecting an answer, yet yearning for one that might undo the occurrences of the past few hours. The air grew dense. The space surrounding us appeared to constrict, compelling us to confront a reckoning, a cleansing of our innermost chaos. She advanced a step, a hand extends forward. Yet, I took a step back. The distance that separates us now is not simply tangible, yet vast, insurmountable. I never envisioned that events would transpire in this manner. Daniel, she finally confessed, her whisper a gentle sound, laden with a weight of innumerable regrets. It was merely a transient instance of vulnerability, a momentary weakness. The words penetrated with an intimate familiarity. Treachery once more. How long does it seize a moment to transform into weeks, then extend into months? How much time has quietly drifted by due to her delicate nature? I made my way to the window, staring into the darkness, the silhouettes, reflecting the turmoil inside me. So, what follows? I asked, my back remaining still, confronting her, hesitant to behold the gaze that would surely linger upon her, the words she would soon share. Her reply was soft, scarcely elevating beyond the cadence of my own heartbeat. In the end, the truth emerges, urging us to face the consequences of our choices. Don't forget to click that subscribe button, show your approval, and spread the word about your reflections in the remarks.